So when you hear working title, what does that make you think of? Could be a movie, a novel, a paper for school. The term working title implies something is in progress. All the pieces are still unfolding and being worked out in real time. When you think about our lives, we are a work in progress, and we, from our perspective, would certainly have a working title. We are in the middle of our story, have limited perspective, and we are not sure where the script is going, what the point of some of the things that we experience is. And we also have the angst of living through it. It's real, it's not a take. And we can't go back and revise when we hit a spot in the story that we're not loving. Because our life could come under a working title, a lot of times we try to look inward to figure out what is going on. We try to process things. We think about the choices that we've made. We think about the characters that have come into the story, the plot twists we had no clue were coming our way. We try to figure it out, and a lot of times come up empty or dry, and that can be so demoralizing. And as we look inside and try to figure it out, it can be very destabilizing because we have no answers, because we are in the middle of it. Despite that, we are, in fact, a work in progress, that our story is still unfolding, that we do not know what's coming our way. We don't have to let that destabilize us. We don't have to look inward to figure it out. We can look to another source and find stability. There's something that can occur when we look inward. We can feel a certain type of way when things are going well. So if things are going well, we can feel well. When things are going poorly, we can feel poorly, as the Brits would say. But even if we're doing well and we look inward, that can go away, whether it's something financial, relational, career wise. If we let that stabilize us or measure us, if that goes away or is compromised, that can throw us off course. That can throw our emotions off course for sure. And the opposite is true. Maybe we made a foolish decision, or maybe we had a blind spot, or maybe we missed a red flag and we made a decision and we went a certain direction. And now our life is upside down and we can't go back and fix the mistake. All of that is destabilizing. I wanted to, for a long time, create a series that does a deep dive into our identity, our worth, and our purpose as God sees it. I want us to really slow down and look at all the things that God says about who we are in light of Him as our creator, His purpose for us, as well as who we are in Christ. When we look at our world and we look inside of ourselves, there is a lot of messaging that we receive. There are messages that we receive from media, social media, family dynamics, school dynamics. Maybe there's experiences that we had growing up that we continually look to that inform how we see ourselves. And maybe there's really hard things that deeply inform us about who we are: abuse, trauma, things that we had no control of. And so, with all of that in mind, I am really looking forward to slowing down in this series and taking a look at all the different angles, just walking around our identity and looking at who we are as God says we are, and considering our worth, our purpose, our identity, and our hope. And I know the more, for me, the more I soak in who God says I am, and the more I soak in His word, the more settled I am with the crazy circumstances that we humans have to endure and walk through. And really, honestly, just the lack of control that we have as one little puny human on the planet. I mean, literally, you try to do the very best you can, and so much is out of our control. What is really important is how the more deeply we know our identity in God, the more deeply we know our purpose in Him, Here's the prime guy. The more able we are to find stability, find healing, find grace. I'm confused because the Amazon Prime guy is here. I'm so sorry. We are not fully formed. I can't talk when the Prime guy is here. What the heck? Hello. Thank you. So, knowing who God says that we are and knowing His care and love in a deeper way, majoring more and more on who He says we are, what our purpose is, what are the goals that He has for us, the more settled we can be. We can rest in our identity. We can replace the lies, the traumas, the thoughts, the labels that have been placed on us or that we've placed on ourselves because of what we have gone through. And we can settle into our purpose, our rest, His grace, our healing, and hope. It's something that I'm super passionate about, something I've needed in my own life, and I'm excited to deep dive with you all in this series on identity and seeing who we are in light of what God says about us. By the way, in God's sight, He's outside of time. Our life is not a work in progress in the way that we would think of. He knows where He's taking us, He knows where we need to go. And I don't know how He does it, but He's going to get us there. I'll leave you with this last thought. My mind was blown when one of my professors said, from the beginning, Adam and Eve, humankind, were meant to live by faith. When God placed Adam and Eve in the garden, they weren't wired to be standalone creatures. He didn't place them in the garden and say, go do your thing. They were always meant to live by faith. They were always dependent on God, meant to look to Him, wait upon Him, and receive His word. And they were built for relationship. They were built for fellowship. They were built to glorify God. That got pretty messed up due to sin. And this side of the cross, what that looks like is we walk with God, get to know Him better. We get to know how loved we are, how cared for we are, how desired we are. And as we grow in knowledge of those things, we know that we are in Him. And because of Him, we are safe. We can heal, we can grow, we can move forward, we can launch and fulfill our ultimate purpose, which is to love Him and to love others. I'm really looking forward to continuing this conversation. If this sounds like something that is of interest to you, I would love to hear about that in the comments below. Please subscribe to the channel so you can catch the upcoming series, and looking forward to more and warmer episodes coming up very shortly.